Hey guys, Justin here. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking mostly about the gold orders, mostly weapons, troops and tanks, and basically which ones to get. Now, first off, for when it comes to troops, do whatever you want with these, okay? It doesn't really matter. Troops don't really matter. I've got two saved over. I don't really care anymore with the troop orders, but vehicles and weapons are very, very important because, well, troop orders are very, some of these weapons are very good, some not so much. So I'm going to go over what I think are the best troops to get, the best to get in terms of, what's the best weapons to get, and what's the best vehicles to get for each campaign. I'm going to start with the vehicle, I'm going to start with the weapons, and then go on to the vehicles. Anyways, let's continue. For the Allies in Moscow, there really isn't much. The problem is that most of these get outclassed by just anything in the tech tree, so the only one I could kind of recommend is the RMN, which is just there if you want some fun. Believe it, and you can also transfer over to Berlin or vice versa, so yeah, you can do the same thing with the PPD and the PDM, but I wouldn't recommend buying either of these because I don't think they are actually that good. Scope Nagant is awful. I managed to persuade Enlisted to buy one on stream, and he basically looked like... And that was the first time he died on that stream. The second time was when he ate that Carolina Reaper. As for the Badan, it's a meme cannon, but yeah. Everyone knows it's a meme, so yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the Axis. For the Axis, there is one, which I've already gotten, and you can see it's missing. It's the Suomi KP. Now, the Suomi KP is very good. Honestly, I would say it borders on overpowered, and it is just unbelievably good, and is worth a pickup. The same goes with the VMP, The VMP is a very, very good SMG for this. This, along with the Suomi, I would say just dominates this campaign. If you have both of these, or you have one, these things are just all worth it. I would say go with the Suomi over the VMP, but the VMP is still really good. So do not sleep on the VMP, especially in the early game. For the MKB, it's good. It's good, but it's not it's nothing outstanding like the VMP and the KP, the Suomi KP. So yeah, not really worth it. The Gavir 1888 is it's okay, but again, it's not as good as it used to be. It's much better. The KP, it's better to go for any of the other gold orders. As for the suppressors, yeah, the Irma's alright actually. It's alright. And the pistol's good as well. Any pistols are good, other than maybe the Nagant, but yeah. Other than that, I would say go for the Suomi KP and then the VMP. Both of those are very important for Moscow. Anyways, let's actually move on to the tanks. For the vehicles, I'm going to lump these both together. The most obvious one to grab has to be the T-50. Honestly, this thing is overpowered as is. The only reason I don't have it is because I don't play Moscow much. But yeah, the T-50 is pretty good, same with the T-28. For the Axis, the only one I would probably recommend grabbing is the Panzer IV-E and the Panzer III-J. Again, same reasons. Don't really worry about the aircraft camos because they're not really that good. Don't really care about them. But yeah, for that, let's just move on to Normandy. For Normandy Allies, don't bother with any of these. They are not really good. The Peterson device is rubbish. The Hide's okay in the early game. The Hide's okay, but when you get the Thompson, it kind of just loses its effectiveness. The same with the M3 suppressed. It's great it's good in the early game when all you have is the M3, but when you get the Sten, it just gets worse. The Peterson rifle isn't too bad, okay? The Peterson rifle isn't too bad. I would say this is the best one to get out of the 5, but it's not bad. The M2A1 carbine. Now, old fans of mine will know that I was really shocked when this thing came out, but honestly, I would say this thing is just the M2 carbine, only it's for assaulters. And the M2 carbine is great, don't get me wrong, the M2 carbine is great, but the M2A1 carbine isn't that good, unless of course you buy it before the Thompson. If you get it before the Thompson, then yeah, it's great, but if you get it just any time in between, it's not that good. Anyway, let's move on to the Axis. On the flip side, the Axis actually have a lot of good weapons. First off, let's just talk about the elephant not in the room, the Gewehr 43 Kurz. That thing is one of the best gold orders in the game. The only gold order I'd say which is better is the Suomi KP. But even then, that's like you're losing to another, 10 out of 10 Axis weapon. So yeah, it's not that's not the best. I mean, yeah, they're both. I would say if you're maining Normandy Axis, grab the the Gewehr 43 Kurt as soon as possible. You will not regret it. The Irma EMP is another great one to grab early because it's pretty much a very great SMG, and you have the dual magazine. So yeah, you've got a lot of good stuff with this. The MKB, again, is the same as in Moscow. Not really much to say about it. For the Schmeiser, I'm mixed on this. It's kind of like it feels like a discount MP40, really. It feels like it feels like a better version of the MP28. Like a usable version of the MP28. And as for the other one, the Irma EMP with the suppressor. Again, I wouldn't recommend it on this campaign, to be precise, because of the premium squad. There's an Irma premium squad, which right here. So if you're gonna buy the Irma premium squad, don't bother with the Irma EMP suppressed, unless of course you buy like 5 Irmas. But even then, I wouldn't even recommend it on this campaign because of the MP4. Because of the MP43. So yeah, Gewehr 43 and then maybe the EMP 44 if you buy it early. But other than that, yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the Allies. Let's move on to the gold orders, the vehicles. This one's going to be a quick one. Most of these are not worth it, okay? The bomb Sherman is pretty good if you're just starting out in Normandy, grab the bomb Sherman, because the Sherman's is a really good tank. The M10 is rubbish. It's the worst vehicle in Normandy, so don't bother. The Scott is a very skill-based thing, and of course planes no one cares, so don't bother. For the unique vehicles, I wouldn't recommend the Panzer IV-H because, well, I mean, you replace the Panzer IV-H quite quickly. The Panther camo is really good. But if you've got either the Tiger or, like me, you upgraded the tank before the camo came out, it's not really worth it. So, yeah. Anyways, let's move on to Berlin. For Berlin, you can notice there's actually, again, one missing. There's actually a missing one here, which is the RMN, which I've got. It's alright. Again, it's the same with Moscow kind of thing. The only difference is the suppressed weapon is different, and the PDM and the PPD is actually worse in this campaign. The PPD kind of works well until you get the PPD 40, but I will say though that the PPD with the suppressor is probably worth it if you're just starting out. Grab this because you just get a free PPD at the end of the day, which is pretty good. And if you can get this before you unlock the PPD, yeah, you're pretty much gonna spray apart everything, and it does help. And honestly, I would say for the players in Axis who are playing Axis, not Axis, Allies, Normandy, I would probably not Normandy, not Allies Berlin. I would recommend grabbing this, and also upping your skill level, because seriously, Allies Berlin has been infuriating recently. Anyways, let's move on to Axis. I don't even need to say anything, actually. The Axis have the exact same things as Berlin, as the Normandy Axis, so I'm just copy and paste everything I said. Grab the Kurtz, then the EMP if you have it, so yeah. MKB is just, it's fine, and the EMP here is fine. So yeah, let's move on to the vehicles. This one's actually quite different because the vehicles are actually pretty good. The ones I'd recommend are definitely without question, grab the T-34 and grab the Panther immediately. Those skins will pretty much lock you out of the pretty bad, I mean, the okay-ish starter tanks, but also, I mean, it's a free maxed out level T-34 and Panther, so yeah, grab those. Don't worry about the other stuff. Anyways, let's move on to Berlin. Not Berlin. Let's move on to Tunisia. Okay, we can actually do some unique stuff because Allies Tunisia actually has some unique gold orders. The Peterson rifle is really good. I would say it's much better here than it is in Normandy. So, if you're going to buy anything first for Allies Normandy, buy the Peterson rifle. It gives you a really good advantage early on. The Birmingham Small Arms Thompson, it's a Thompson. It's a weaker version of the Thompson. It's okay again until you get the Thompson, but even when you get the Thompson, it still holds its own somewhat. As for the suppressed weapons, don't bother. The Delisle carbine is rubbish, and the whale rod is rubbish. Anyways, let's move on to the Axis. Okay, this is actually kind of weird. We'll start with the M42, this kind of spaghetti gun. I don't even know how to say it, but it's a semi-auto. But the problem is, I think it's too it's a decent semi-auto actually, but it's not. But again, the Axis get a few good semi-autos, like there's a spaghetti gun, like the Aragano, whatever it's called, which is quite similar to this, other than the damage. The damage is pretty good, so I think that's the only saving grace of this rifle. The VMP is really good. Honestly, it's definitely the best gold order in this. So if you have the VMP in Moscow and you transfer it over to this one, yeah, you've got a lot of good stuff. As for the Irma EMP suppressed, yeah, it's the Irma EMP suppressed. Anyways, let's move on to the gold order vehicles. Some of these are, I don't know, they're myth. The Grant's pretty good, so yeah. But honestly, the Axis don't have a lot of weird ones. Like, the M13 is basically just a premium tank, but there's 2 Panzer IIIJs. Like, why? I don't know why they get multiple Panzer IIIJs, because you can only use it with the Panzer IIIJ squad, so yeah. I would recommend the Panzer IIIJ, either of them, whatever one looks better for you, and the Grant with the gold order vehicles. Anyways, let's move on to the easiest campaign to rank, Stalingrad. Stalingrad just sucks in general, so yeah, let's just talk about their we'll just do a quick one, because all they have is the suppressed weapons, and honestly, I've already said them. PPD is really good, like I said, in Berlin, very good. I've already been talking about this bloody Irma EMP already a lot. It's basically the exact same as everything else. For the camos, it's basically a free KV1, which I would recommend. The KV1 is very good. It's a very strong tank, arguably the best tank in the campaign, so pick that up. And the Panzer IV F2 is a pretty strong vehicle as well, so worth picking up. Anyways, I just want to get off Stalingrad. I hate Stalingrad. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.